Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be talking about plus size fashion and kind of my thoughts on it, especially nowadays. But before that, I just want to give a disclaimer. I'm not an expert in this field. This is not necessarily a subject I keep tabs on. I'm just coming at this as a simple observer of some trends, and I just happen to be in the middle of all of it. So with that being said, let's move forward. So first, I'll be talking about my personal experience with plus size fashion and how I think it's changed over time, because I think some of the things that I went through are kind of relevant to the discussion as a whole. So when I was a kid, I normally shopped at stores like Ross, Target, Walmart, sometimes Forever 21, which was fine. I got everything that I needed and a lot of what I wanted. We weren't really into like high fashion brands as a family, and even if our parents wanted to do that for us, let's just say the wallet didn't stretch for Gucci, but it stretched for Target, you know, that. Okay. Also, in my case, I was an absolute unit growing up, so if I wanted to find something that was fashionable and also in my size, that was typically harder to do at the more higher end scale of things, so that's another thing. However, things would change for me because while I was growing up, a new wave, a force to be reckoned with, was brewing on the internet. So around the 2010s is when I remember plus size bloggers becoming popular, covering all kinds of subjects like love and relationships, what it's like to work in the office, healthcare, social stigmas, and in my opinion, what seemed to be the most popular at the time was advocating for plus size clothing from more regular or accessible stores. So this was an interesting time for me because I grew up with the second wave of the internet. I was able to see other people talk about issues that directly affected me, which was kind of an interesting experience because being homeschooled, look, I'm not trying to stereotype homeschooling, but it is true. You just don't see that many people as you would if you went to a public school. So any thoughts and opinions I would assume other people would have about me, I could kind of pseudo confirm that on the internet. It was like, oh, what do people think about bigger people? What do people think about this kind of fashion on big people? Like, that was very interesting to me growing up. Long story short, in my opinion, I feel like there was enough push from social media influencers that brands picked up on the opportunity to expand their consumer base. And so with that, clothing brands that didn't typically have plus sizes have been investing in plus sizes and are being praised for it today. So here are the crossroads. I think the unfortunate problem with straight size fashion and what plus size fashion has quickly caught up to is that now brands are contributing even more so to the poor labor conditions that disproportionately affect people in other countries due to what we call fast fashion. So fast fashion, according to Investopedia, is a term used to describe clothing designs that move quickly from the catwalk to stores that meet new trends. Collections are often based on designs presented at Fashion Week events, and fast fashion allows mainstream consumers to purchase trendy clothing at an affordable price. So trendy and cheap is the main functions of fast fashion. Because fast fashion does not adhere to traditional seasons of clothing like traditional fashion houses, it can produce clothing to match the trends of the day. And that can mean multiple times a week. So from a logistics standpoint, what does that mean? It means that the material needs to be cheap, and there needs to be a lot of labor, and at that, a lot of cheap labor. So for the businesses that are involved in fast fashion, it is a very lucrative business because there's always a new trend and there's always somebody waiting to pounce on that new trend. And in order to meet the demands of the trends, they utilize cheap labor in order to keep their margins as large as possible. Because why? Businesses are self-interested. And when it comes to trends, it seems like the only ones that matter are the ones that are gonna make the businesses money, which makes sense because again, businesses are self-interested. So whenever companies of any sort get into this matters, or we need to save the whales and things like that, or don't forget your reusable straws, they're not doing it out of any type of morality. They're doing it because they are hoping that that consumer base that believes in those things will associate it with that company and they continue to buy it from that company. Even though I appreciate the solidarity sometimes, PepsiCo is not gonna save me from a systemic issue anytime soon. So like I was alluding to earlier with fast fashion, there is cheap labor involved. And it's not just about, oh, employees get paid a little bit less than employees in America. They get paid a way lot less. And most of the time, their working conditions are not up to par. OSHA would not be happy. And there are plus size bloggers like Nabella Noor that are speaking up against major brands that are not paying the people that make their clothes. She has a campaign called #PayUp, and that's basically what it's about. Now, what do we do moving forward? I do not know how to fix a transatlantic problem. I do not know how to fix an international problem when it comes to fast fashion and these companies and how to make it all ethical. I really don't know, to be honest. I like to sit here and tell companies to pay the people that make their clothes a livable wage. However, I would be naive to think that if companies were to raise their business expenses to meet the ethical demands, that they would not raise their prices on the consumer's end to meet their profit margins. Because again, businesses are what? Self-interested. And the other issue is in our own backyard, there is a need being met by fast fashion for those of us that can't really go out and just buy exorbitant eco-fashion friendly clothing. I think the main reason why I'm talking about the intersection of plus size clothing in the fast fashion industry is that it's kind of a weird two-way street, because it's kind of nice that we're seeing different kinds of people wear the same brands that we've been seeing for like decades. And then the other side of it is that it's perpetuating all the horrible problems that comes with fast fashion. Another reason why I'm kind of talking about the intersection of plus size fashion is that it kind of felt like in the past or 5 to 10 years that, you know, the big girls finally got their day on the internet, where like people are starting to be more accepting of different body sizes and like, you know, not shaming people for just looking different, you know. But I guess the issue comes down to, even if I get to participate in something, does that make it right? You know? I don't know. I've only taken like 2 philosophy courses, so I don't really know. I need to go back and read some books. And just to be very clear, I am not saying that anybody that has ever hauled anything in their entire life are of the devil. They are the capitalist devil, and they're going to capitalist hell. I'm not demonizing anybody for hauling anything ever, because trust me, I've utilized those hauls and they have helped me very much to avoid some brands and go for others. Get the Shein and get your gig, okay? However, I think there are some things that we can do that could be helpful in the now and possibly over time. And for me, it kind of started with cleaning out my social media, which sounds very first worldy, but what can I do? I'm sorry. So along with the rise of social media, we've also had the rise of social media influencers and celebrity culture like we've never known it before. So because people have their favorite influencers and favorite celebrities, that is the perfect relationship for companies to peddle their products. So for instance, in my case, I followed Cardi B on Instagram when she was first getting big, after Bodak Yellow or something like that. And I followed her because I like her personality. I like that she came up from, you know, a reality TV show, and now she's like super big doing her thing. And I thought she was very funny. So I wanted to follow her Instagram just to, you know, catch up on those kinds of things. But it seemed like, I don't know if it was the devil in my phone, but it seemed like every time I opened up my phone, it was a Fashion Nova ad after Fashion Nova ad after Fashion Nova ad. After a while, I felt like this weird attachment to like Fashion Nova, and I would go look up their stuff just to see if I would like it. And I never did. Never bought anything from them, and I don't know if I ever will. Not saying that I wouldn't, but I just haven't for like the longest time. Cardi B became such a strong association to Fashion Nova to me that it became too much. It was too many advertisements, and I didn't like that. I didn't come to Cardi B for Fashion Nova. So after a while, I was like, you know what? I have to unfollow Cardi B. And with that, I unfollowed a lot of brands that I felt like were giving me this odd sense or odd pressure to need to or want to buy something. Now again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but in the terms of my personal consumerism and how I want to buy things, it didn't match. So that's why I unfollowed certain brands and certain influencers, celebrities, things like that. I think the most immediate impact anyone can have in terms of the things that they buy is to rethink their consumerism. It came to a head probably a couple years ago when I moved to college, because I couldn't afford just to bring everything with me that I don't wear. You know, you have very limited space in college, and you have very limited space when you have roommates. So to me, that was something important. I need to have things that fit my lifestyle as I'm living it. So anyways, those were just my thoughts and opinions about plus size fast fashion, how it's changed over the years, and social media and celebrities. If there's things that you agree with, if there's things that you disagree with, please let me know down in the comments, because like I said, I'm not an expert, never have claimed to be, and probably won't be one, all right? not in this area. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. And also thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting. Bye.